will never be bigger than Drake ever in life. You know how many like Drake change? How many can take care of their family because of buddy? Just like straight fucking with you. Kendrick got put it on. Y'all, you're a superstar. You don't ran up to a few hundred M, but you ain't put nobody on though. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even put Keem on. Because the shit on him doing ain't really doing that. Keem ain't big, Keem love hell, man. Can't say no shit. Watch out. Like, man, watch out.
What's up, y'all? When it comes to hip-hop, clashes between artists are nothing new. But the recent leaked audio of Young Thug calling out Kendrick Lamar has taken the culture by storm. What started as a leaked conversation quickly turned into a broader debate about hip-hop's place in the mainstream, how features work in the industry, and whether artists like Kendrick Lamar should feel obligated to collaborate with their peers. So let's break this all down. In the leaked audio, Young Thug criticizes Kendrick for refusing to feature on his Business is Business album. Thug seems genuinely confused as to why someone of Kendrick's stature wouldn't jump on a track when other major artists like Lil Baby, Lil Durk, and himself were reaching out. He basically asks, why wouldn't you want to do a feature for a superstar? Now here's where things get interesting. To understand why Thug feels this way, you've got to look at how the hip-hop industry views features. For many artists, features are not just about music, they're strategic. They help expand fan bases, create cross-genre momentum, and elevate an artist's visibility. Thug's point is that Kendrick, despite his status as one of the greatest lyricists of his generation, could have boosted his mainstream appeal by associating more closely with rappers who dominate charts in the trap and melodic rap space. Thug even compares Kendrick directly to Drake. He says Kendrick will never reach Drake's level precisely because Drake collaborates widely. He's constantly hopping on tracks with different artists, from newcomers to international acts. Drake has built his dominance partly on this adaptability, while Kendrick has kept his circle tight, focusing on artistic cohesion over mainstream accessibility. This raises a fascinating debate. Is it more valuable to protect your artistry and stay selective, or to be open and versatile, making sure your name stays buzzing across all corners of the culture? Kendrick has clearly chosen the first path, while Drake embodies the second. And Thug's frustration makes sense when you look at Kendrick's career from his perspective. Kendrick rarely does features outside of his carefully chosen circle. When he does, they're impactful. Think of his work with artists like SZA or his collaborations on the Black Panther soundtrack. But for an artist like Thug, who thrives on creating collaborative energy, Kendrick's refusal feels almost like a dismissal. Then there's the personal sting. Thug mocks Kendrick's low-profile lifestyle. He points out how Kendrick barely uses social media, almost as if Kendrick wants to prove he's above it. Thug basically says, if you're not going to interact online, then why even keep the accounts at all? This reflects a bigger clash in personality. Thug embraces the spotlight and thrives in public chaos, while Kendrick is more reclusive, only emerging when he has something important to say musically. But Thug didn't stop there. He also dragged Baby Keem into the mess, dismissing him as bullshit Akeem. That shot is layered, because Keem isn't just Kendrick's cousin, he's also one of Kendrick's closest collaborators. For Thug, it probably feels like Kendrick chooses to uplift Keem while shutting the door on guys like himself. To fans, though, it's messy. It looks like Thug is not just going after Kendrick, but the entire TDE PG Lang camp. Now, let's zoom out. Why does this matter in the bigger picture of hip-hop? Kendrick Lamar and Young Thug represent two different archetypes in rap. Kendrick is the poet, the conscious storyteller, focused on albums that feel like literature. Young Thug is the experimental innovator, constantly pushing sound and culture forward with his unpredictable style. Both are massively influential, but their paths almost never intersect. This clash highlights a long-running divide in hip-hop, the balance between lyrical artistry and mainstream impact. Fans often compare Kendrick and Drake, but now with Thug entering the conversation, we see another layer, how the trap superstar sees himself in relation to the conscious rap icon. Let's also talk about power dynamics in features. Features can feel transactional. For example, a Kendrick verse is rare, it's almost like gold in the industry. When he gives it, it adds weight. But because it's rare, artists like Thug might feel snubbed when they don't get the nod. On the other hand, Drake verses are everywhere. His willingness to collaborate has created goodwill, but it's also diluted some of the specialness of a Drake feature. So, which strategy works better long-term? That's a question worth asking. Another angle here is timing. Kendrick has just come off his Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers run, cementing himself as one of the best album artists of all time. Meanwhile, Young Thug has been dealing with his legal battles and trying to keep his career afloat despite enormous personal challenges. From Thug's perspective, locking in a Kendrick verse might have been a career-boosting lifeline, especially while awaiting trial and keeping his name hot in the culture. But Kendrick refusing to do the feature sends a message. Kendrick is protective of his brand, and he's not going to attach his name to every project, no matter how big the artist asking might be. Now, let's dig deeper into the psychology of this feud. For Thug, being seen as equal to or bigger than his peers is part of his identity. His frustration with Kendrick probably isn't just about music, it's about respect. Thug has influenced an entire generation of rappers, yet he feels he doesn't always get the credit he deserves from lyrical purists who elevate artists like Kendrick. So when Kendrick refuses to collaborate, it reinforces that division between artistic credibility and street credibility. This tension reflects a broader theme in hip-hop history. We've seen similar divides before, Nas versus Jay-Z, where lyrical purity clashed with commercial dominance. Or even earlier, underground versus mainstream debates that still shape rap culture today. So what's next? Young Thug has teased a major announcement on September 2, 2025, and fans are buzzing that it might be the release date for his long-anticipated UI Scooty album. If that's the case, then all this controversy may serve a bigger purpose: promotion. Let's be real, controversy sells. By dragging Kendrick into the spotlight, Thug ensures people are talking about him right when he's ready to drop new music. At the same time, it's risky. Kendrick fans are fiercely loyal, and going against him could alienate some of the broader audience. But then again, Thug has always thrived in chaos. He knows how to turn negativity into energy. Ultimately, this feud reveals how differently two rap icons navigate fame, artistry, and collaboration. Kendrick is selective, disciplined, and deliberate. Thug is free-flowing, confrontational, and expressive. They're opposites. And maybe that's why this clash feels so significant. It represents two philosophies of hip-hop colliding. Whether or not Kendrick responds, this situation is already sparking conversations across the culture. Should artists feel obligated to help their peers by jumping on features? Or is it fair for Kendrick to protect his brand and only collaborate when he feels the vision aligns? What's undeniable is that both Young Thug and Kendrick Lamar are shaping the future of hip-hop, just in very different ways. And this moment, this leaked audio, has given us a rare glimpse into how these titans view each other behind the scenes.